What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Always appreciate the love. Always appreciate the support. You guys know the vibes. You guys know the energy. You know where my body be. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. And yes, I know you guys are very excited about college football right now. And some of you guys are probably thinking to yourselves, Tone, why are you live right now? I'm trying to watch the games. Why are you live right now? There's so much college football popping. How are you in front of a camera? How are you not watching these games right now? Why is Arch Manning looking like a bum? I don't understand it. Oh, man. But you know, I had to tap in with you guys, man. I had to. I had some things on my mind, had some things I wanted to chat with you guys about. And look, even if you're not watching right now, right? Even if you're watching the playback, watching this on your own time, right? Maybe you're not watching this live, right? Maybe you're not watching this live. And it's all good. Make sure you tune into the playback. Make sure you guys tune in on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you guys tune in on Spotify, and we're always posting clips, reels, and shorts on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. You guys know how it goes, man. So just make sure you guys stay engaged in the content. We're going to be here for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm not going to take up too much of your afternoon. I understand Alabama plays in about 30 minutes, Fanny. I understand. I got you. So I'm going to do my best to get out of here in about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to attack some of these topics that I have. We ain't going BS. We're going to get right to it. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. All right. So, you know, I've been thinking about what's been going on with the Dallas Cowboys lately, right? And, you know, I think it's important we invest time in talking about the Cowboys, mainly because the Philadelphia Eagles will be playing them next week, next Thursday to be exact. So it's very important that we get a feel for the lay of the land as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys, in particular, that defense, right? I think their defense has the most question marks. Now, you can find question marks on their offense, right? The offensive line, the running game, What will Dak Prescott look like coming off of the torn hamstring? How will George Pickens fare in that Brian Schottenheimer offense? Right? There's some questions all across the board for the Dallas Cowboys. But most of the questions, in my humble opinion, are on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that's the most interesting side of the ball to talk about as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. Right? Like, let's just try to reconcile what's happened. They decided to trade away their best player. I think that goes without saying. They traded away their best player in Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 29 going on 30-year-old Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark will be 30 in October. I think October 4th. And they got 2 first-round picks out of the deal. Now, look, 2 first-round picks is nothing to sneeze at, right? Especially when you include your own. But Kenny Clark for Micah Parsons doesn't seem like quite the move I would make. Kenny Clark, like I mentioned, going on 30 years old, he's a pretty healthy player. Doesn't really miss games, right? He's a solid player. He's a good player, but I thought the Cowboys could have got more from Micah, right? But now that saga has come to an end, now that Micah is officially a Green Bay Packer and the Dallas Cowboys have no choice but to move forward, it's important we try to understand who they are today. Because we've been dealing with Micah Parsons for the past 3 or 4 seasons, right? Every time we think about the Cowboys defense, we always thought, okay, Micah Parsons. But now he's not there. He's not there. So we have to adjust our sights, adjust how we evaluate that Cowboys defense. And it's interesting because you lose Micah Parsons, you lose your most dominant player on defense, you lose clear-cut production in the pass rush. We know Micah Parsons wasn't a good run defender. We know that. And one could argue, hey, their run defense may take a step forward with Kenny Clark. Right? You look at their run defense, they weren't good with Micah. They had a pass rush, with DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. They had a pass rush. DeMarcus Lawrence isn't there anymore. They lose Micah Parsons in the same offseason. So now you don't have a pass rush at all, and your run defense is still compromised. Because let's be honest about this. Although Micah Parsons wasn't a great run defender, he was the least of their problems, in my humble opinion. Their run defense was bad all across the board. That wasn't just a Micah Parsons problem. That wasn't just a Micah Parsons weakness. Their run defense was a weakness for their entire squadron. And we're going to spend more time talking about that front seven. We're going to spend more time talking about their defensive line and linebacker rotations. We're not going to spend too much time talking about DBs today. We're going to more so talk about their front seven, linebacker and D-line rotations versus the Eagles' offensive line, Jalen Hurts and the running backs, right? We're not really going to get into DBs and wide receivers today. But prior to the trade, the interior defensive line was compromised for the Dallas Cowboys, largely because Mozzie Smith never became what he was supposed to become. And look, Mozzie Smith is still a young player, right? But if I'm not mistaken, Mozzie Smith was drafted in the first round, 26th overall to be specific. And he has yet to become the player they expected him to be. When they drafted him in 2023, people felt like, that's not the player you need to go after. Nonetheless, prior to the trade, prior to moving on from Micah, their interior defensive line was compromised, largely because Mozzie Smith didn't become what he was supposed to become. He didn't take the next step, right? Now, Kenny Clark, bringing him in, should help that. Kenny Clark should be able to help your interior. He should. That's the natural progression. That's the natural inclination. Kenny Clark is better than Mozzie Smith, more experienced. Kenny Clark next to Osa Odigizua should be a pretty good 1-2 tandem at D tackle. It's not bad. It's not elite. It's solid. It's good. So Kenny and Osa should be pretty decent, specifically in run defense. But if you ask me, it's still not enough. It's still not enough. Let's get into some details here, right? The Dallas Cowboys, they signed Osa Odigizua, their D tackle. They signed Osa to a 4-year, $80 million extension in March. So expectations are already high for him. In 2024, he had a strong pass rushing grade, according to PFF. According to PFF, Osa Odigizua had a 78.5 pass rush grade. That's pretty good for a D tackle, especially. But then when we get to his run defense grade was a below average 50.8. And again, we're using PFF grades today. Do with that what you will. But according to PFF, Osa Odigizua, solid pass rusher, had a 78.5 grade as a pass rusher, had a 50.8 grade as a run defender. So I say again, Micah Parsons wasn't their only issue in run defense. Osa Odigizua was a weak run defender as well, especially on the interior. Let's go to Kenny Clark. Let's go to him. They traded for this guy. He'll be 30 years old in October. Kenny Clark, he had a slightly above average pass rush grade with a 63.1, according to PFF. And he had, quite frankly, an average run defense grade at 57.1. So Kenny Clark, pass rush grade, slightly above average. Average run defense grade with the 57.1. So both Kenny Clark and Osa Odigizua are not great run defenders. They're not elite run defenders, according to PFF. Let's keep it going, right? Now let's get beyond the interior. Let's move beyond Kenny Clark and Osa Odigizua. We know Micah Smith is not a threat. We know that. He's going to be a part of their rotation, but I'm not even worried about him. Let's move on to the edge, where they got weaker. Let's move to the defensive ends, where they got weaker. You lose Micah Parsons. So again, like I said, where did the pass rush come? Where's the pass rush going to come from, right? Now, they re-signed or they brought back Dante Fowler Jr. Dante Fowler Jr. spent the 2024 season with the Washington Commanders, but he also spent his 2022 and 2023 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. And in 2024, Dante Fowler, coming off of one of his best seasons from a sack perspective, he had 10.5 sacks with the Washington Commanders, right? But his PFF run defense grade, Dante Fowler Jr.'s run defense grade was a 50.0, well below league average for his position. And Dante Fowler is another year older. So, yes, he's coming off of one of his best seasons from a pass rush perspective, getting to the quarterback. I'll give him that. But the Cowboys' biggest issue has been run defense, and Dante Fowler is not helping that. Osa Odigizua, not helping that. Kenny Clark, not helping that, according to PFF's run defense grades for these guys. Can Dante Fowler be a consistent threat? That's the question. Again, if you're just joining the live stream, we're breaking down the Dallas Cowboys defensive line and linebacker rotations. I'm trying to explain to you guys why this team is in trouble. And again, you move on from Micah Parsons, You're clearly not taking the 2025 season serious. You're clearly punting on it. But it needs to be understood that they're going to get a rude awakening in week 1. But I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Let's move on to a young player that they have. Marshawn Kneeland on the end. Defensive end. Marshawn Kneeland, he's entering year 2. Right? Now, Marshawn Kneeland, 6'3", 268, 24 years old, went to Western Michigan, was drafted out of the second round, 56th overall by the Dallas Cowboys in 2024. He's entering year 2. They got big expectations for Marshawn Kneeland, especially after trading Micah Parsons. You need more from Marshawn Kneeland. You don't just need more from Dante Fowler or Osa Odigizua or Mozzie Smith or Kenny Clark. You need more from Marshawn Kneeland. He has to produce. Listen to this. Marshawn Kneeland played in 11 games last season, only started once in 2024, and didn't produce a single sack. On top of that, when it comes to his PFF grades, Kneeland had a 53.4 pass rush grade and a 47.2 run defense grade. Marshawn Kneeland, new season, new year, needs to be a new you. And again, this is me just judging the Cowboys from a bird's eye view. This is me just doing casual research on these guys. It's important to not only know yourself, but it's important to know the enemy. It's important to be familiar with the ops. Know them better than they know themselves. Study them. Yeah, I know about Marshawn Kneeland. I know who he is. He ain't quite there yet. Now, could he take a step forward this season? Entirely plausible. Entirely plausible. All these guys I mentioned so far, could they take a step forward this year? Entirely plausible. I think Kenny Clark is what he is. But everybody else, could they take a step? I think Dante Fowler is what he is as well. But, could Mozzie Smith take a step forward this year? It's possible. We haven't seen any signs of that, just based off of what the Cowboys have been discussing and talking about, how the fan base has been reacting to Mozzie. I pay attention to you guys when you tweet. I pay attention to all the Cowboys content creators. You guys are concerned about this defense. You were concerned about the defense prior to the Micah trade. You're concerned about the defense now. And all I kept seeing was Mozzie Smith not it. Mozzie Smith not it. But Marshawn Kneeland, can he be it for you guys in 2025? It's possible, but I don't think he will be, especially in week 1, going up against Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Marshawn Kneeland had a 53.4 pass rush grade and a 47.2 run defense grade, according to PFF. They urgently need this brother to step his weight up. Let's keep it going. Let's talk about a player I like, Donovan Izaraku. Donovan Izaraku is an edge rusher they drafted out of Boston College. I'm a Donovan Izaraku fan. Love the production in Boston College. I wanted the Eagles to give him a shot or draft him, whatever it may be. The Eagles decided to go another direction. That is what it is. But damn, he landed with the Cowboys. That hurts my heart that he has to be subjected to such nonsense, that he has to be subjected to such malpractice. Nonetheless, they drafted Donovan Izaraku in the second round. Young player, rookie. Your expectations have to be moderate with him. He's still an unknown, no matter how much I like him. You draft him to help your pass rush, but he's an unknown, like all rookies are. He's an unknown on the NFL level. So I'm not looking at Donovan Izaraku to completely change the Dallas Cowboys defense, but can he be a player that can get you between 7 to 10 sacks maybe his rookie season? It's possible. I doubt it. On this defense, I doubt it, but we'll see. He's an unknown. So I can't even criticize Donovan Izaraku, and I won't. Let's go to some players who've been here. Let's keep it going. I mentioned Marshawn Kneeland was going into year 2, right? Being drafted in the third round. Let's go to another player, that's going into year 2. Right? Marist Lufau. He's a linebacker for these guys. Marist Lufau, drafted in the 3rd round, 87th overall by the Dallas Cowboys. 6'2", 239. Went to Notre Dame. I think he's from Hawaii. Marist Lufau played in 17 games in 2024, started in 9 games, had 1.5 sacks in 2024, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 pass deflections. Young player, he had 4 tackles for loss and 2 quarterback hits. He's developing. He's a young player, played a lot last year, though. But Marist Lufau at linebacker is expected to make an impact as well. He's expected to take another step forward. And according to PFF, Lufau had a 65.6 pass rush grade. Not bad. Not bad in 2024 for a young player. A 65.6 pass rush grade, which is decent. But he also had a below average 54.1 run defense grade and had an even worse grade in coverage with 46.3. So he had a 46.3 coverage grade, a 54.1 run defense grade. The Dallas Cowboys are in trouble. Unless Lufau takes a step forward, I mean, that's a different. I don't expect that week 1. I don't. Who are you talking about? Hold on. Who's this right here? Who's this? Oh, y'all talking about Nolan Smith. Oh, yeah. Like I said, yeah. Listen. You can't talk to these guys. You can't talk to these guys, Big Dog 5. You can't. Nolan had 10 sacks in 2024. He had 6.5 in the regular season, I think, and 4 in the playoffs. 10.5 or 10 sacks. 10 sacks, baby boy. We know you. Iceberg Slim. We know y'all don't know too much about the playoffs. We get that these days. We get that. You know what I mean? We understand. No love lost, no pressure. Nonetheless, let's get back to regular schedule program. They need Marist Lufau to take a step forward. That run defense grade and that coverage grade ain't gonna cut it. Let's take it a step further. They signed a linebacker in free agency, Kenneth Murray. I think he's supposed to start for them this year. Kenneth Murray spent the 2024 season in Tennessee. And according to PFF in 2024, he had a very solid pass rush grade with a 67.7. Not bad at all. Very solid, very decent. You can do something, work with that. But this is where things get scary for him. Although he had a 67.7 pass rush grade, Kenneth Murray Jr., his run defense grade was a 35.0. Horrendous. And he had a 54.4 coverage grade. That won't get it done. Against the Philadelphia Eagles, that is. It won't get it done. It won't get it done. It won't get it done. Because if y'all can't stop if the Cowboys can't stop the run, what's the point in even, you don't even got to pass the ball. You can play action them and RPO them to death. They're going to be so scared about that run. They're going to try so hard to sell out and stop the run. Just watch. They are quite, and I'm going to get to your super chats, by the way. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep it going. Because Dallas, they signed some people to try to help that defense, but I don't know how much they help. Kenneth Murray can't stop the run. Marist Lufau And Marshawn Nealon can't stop the run. Dante Fowler can't stop the run. Mozzie Smith can't stop the run. Osa Digizua isn't the best run defender. Kenny Clark, according to PFF, didn't have the greatest season stopping the run. Let's go to another player they drafted or signed, excuse me. Let's go to another player they signed in free agency. Solomon Thomas. He spent the previous 3 seasons with the New York Jets from 2022 to 2024. He was drafted in the first round of the 2017 NFL draft, and he's never quite met expectations. He's never quite met expectations in his career. He was drafted by the 49ers in the first round, never quite took that step. According to PFF, Solomon Thomas had a 61.2 pass rush grade. Not that bad. It's decent. It's okay. And he had a 41.5 run defense grade. They not stopping no run game. And by the way, DeMarvion Overshown is still injured. They better hope they see him by week 5. Or I think he's on a pup list, right? DeMarvion Overshown, we have no idea what he's going to be when he comes back. We have no idea. But I'm telling you this right now. Solomon Thomas ain't getting it done. Neither is Sam Williams on the edge, who missed the entire 2024 season with a torn ACL. He's looking to bounce back in 2025. When you just break down the Cowboys' defensive line and their linebacker rotations, when you just break down that front seven, their chances against the Cowboys, or their chances against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1 look more and more bleak. This isn't my emotions. This isn't my feelings. This is just what the metrics are saying. And even with the eye test in 2024, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop anything on defense. You trade Micah Parsons. You bring in 2 first-round picks for the future and 29 going on 30-year-old Kenny Clark. And quite frankly, after this season, which I give the Cowboys credit for, after this season, they can cut Kenny Clark and not owe him a dime. I don't know why Kenny Clark signed that contract with the Green Bay Packers. They guaranteed him barely any money in relation to what guys normally get. I think they guaranteed him like $17 million out of like a $60 million contract. It was crazy. The Cowboys can get out of Kenny Clark's contract after this season unscathed. But I felt like you should have tried to get one of those younger Green Bay Packers players, Wyatt or Edgerrin Cooper or Quay Walker. One of those young guns. They give you guys somebody to, inspire the fan base. But the bottom line is, this defense is just not built to stop the run. They're not. And when you can't stop the run, your corner's a barbecue chicken. How do you expect Trevon Diggs, who's coming off of a knee injury in back-to-back seasons, in the same knee, by the way, how do you expect him? How do you expect Trevon Diggs to hold up and y'all can't stop the run? Y'all don't have a consistent pass rush that you can rely on, a go-to guy, a closer. How do you expect DeRon Bland to bounce back after fracturing his foot? If y'all can't stop the run, y'all can't get to the quarterback. How do you expect Kyra Elam to turn his career around if y'all can't stop the run, if y'all can't get to the quarterback? How do you expect Hooker to have a good season? It's just a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on these guys to produce, especially after you trade Micah Parsons. One thing you knew, at least you had Micah Parsons. He could work a game for you in the regular season. But now, who's that? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's the best player on defense for the Cowboys? Is it Kenny Clark now? Do you still say Trevon Diggs? I mean, he hasn't been the guy we're used to him being since 2022. DaRon Bland hasn't been able to replicate that 2023 season he had, granted because of an injury in 2024. Kyra Elam has struggled so far in the NFL. Marshawn Nealand and Maurice Lufau haven't shown that they can be dominant quite yet. They're still young players, so I give them grace. They're entering year 2, but there's more pressure on them more than ever before. Dante Fowler coming off of a 10.5 sack season in 2024 with the Commanders, but he's another year older. He can't really stop the run. Solomon Thomas, former first-round pick that's never really played up to his draft stock. You drafted Donovan Izaraku in the second round in the 2025 draft. I like him. Hopefully, he becomes a player for you guys. Osa Digizua, you guys paid him a lot of money to be an anchor on the interior, a decent pass rusher, up and down run defender. Mozzie Smith, bust so far. Just a lot of questions. Kenneth Murray Jr., linebacker you guys brought in from Tennessee. Can't stop the run. Can't cover. Maurice Lufau, can't cover. Can't stop the run. Dallas Cowboys just have a lot of issues on defense. And all you can do is pray for them. All you can do is pray for them. Like, trading Micah Parsons, okay, it's not really a problem for me. Now, some people will say, why would you trade your best player, take your ego out of it, pay him? I agree with that too. I agree they should have paid him sooner. I also agree with the notion that, hey, all right, if you wasn't going to pay him, trade him and get the most for him, rebuild your franchise. My issue comes in is what they got back. The 2 first-round picks, okay, cool. But you only walked away with Kenny Clark, who's 30 years old. You didn't get one of those young defensive studs from the Green Bay Packers. Just feel like it wasn't an equivalent exchange. But that's my position on the Dallas Cowboys. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I just want to get to some final points real quick before we go. My man Alex with the super chat says Dallas traded him at the wrong time. It should have been earlier in the year before the draft, and they could have gotten a bigger haul, in my opinion. Another L for Jerry. Absolutely. It could, if you were going to trade him, see, this is the thing. I don't think they really had full intentions on trading him. I think this situation was fluid. This situation was devolving in front of our very eyes, and they got caught with their pants down. That's what happened. This situation was devolving before their very eyes, and they lost control of the situation. That's why they didn't trade him prior to the draft. But if you had any question, any inkling that you weren't going to be able to sign this player or trading him was any possibility, you do it sooner rather than later. You don't do it a week before the season starts. Simple. But I think, Alex, quite frankly, this situation devolved in front of their very eyes. They lost complete control of it. It was a runaway train. You ever seen Speed? You ever seen Speed with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock? That's kind of what happened. It was a runaway bus with a bomb on it. They lost complete control. Miss Fanny, who's one of my members, I appreciate you. She says Dallas had a weak defense with Micah. Now it's weaker. Yeah, I agree. Kyle Kokorski with the super chat. Thank you, Kyle. He says here, Tone, that Parsons trade made it apparent that Dallas is tanking for Arch Manning. Listen, as of right now, I don't know if anybody should be tanking for Arch Manning. Now, granted, young quarterback, still in college, only his second or third season, something like that. I'll give him grace. But Arch Manning isn't having a great game right now. And, if Dallas is tanking for him, they better hope he's the guy, man. They better hope. They better hope. All right, let's see here. All right, a couple more topics I want to get to, you guys. The Eagles, when I think about this Dallas defense, and it makes me think about the Eagles offense, right? I think about the Eagles offense and what they did in 2024. The Eagles offense was 5th in scoring, averaging 29 points per game in 2024. They were 8th in total yards per game, averaging 366 yards per game. They were 1st in average time of possession with 32 minutes and 21 seconds per game. They were 3rd in 4th down conversion rate with a 70.97%. They were 2nd in rushing yards per game with 184.1 yards per game. They were 4th in rushing yards per attempt, averaging 5 yards a run. Jalen Hurts had the 8th highest completion percentage in the league, completing 68.7% of his passes. Jalen Hurts was 4th in passing yards per attempt, averaging 8 yards per attempt. They were efficient. They were effective. They were dominant in the run game. You couldn't fuck with them in the trenches. They were ahead of schedule. They were controlling the time of possession, controlling the clock. Teams had no chance. They were quite literally guillotining teams every week. On top of that, the last 2 games we saw Jalen Hurts in, which was the NFC Championship game against the Washington Commanders and the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. When you compile those stats together, the last 2 games you saw Jalen Hurts play, Hurts went 37 for 50, completing 74% of his passes, threw for 467 passing yards, averaging 9.4 yards per attempt. He threw 3 passing touchdowns on 1 interception with a 114.9 passer rating, had 21 rush attempts, 88 rush yards, averaging 4 yards per rush attempt, and had 4 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Hurts was efficient, he was effective, he was productive, and he was unstoppable, even when you tried to bottle up Saquon Barkley. He also snagged himself a Lombardi trophy, a Super Bowl ring, and a Super Bowl MVP to boot. Let's take it a step further. Saquon Barkley. And we're talking, this is who the Cowboys are going to have to deal with. Saquon Barkley, who's coming off of an amazing season, looking to bring the same impact or close to it. Saquon led the league in total rushing yards and rushing yards per game. He also broke the record for total rush yards in the regular season and playoffs combined, breaking Terrell Davis's record. He's also the reigning offensive player of the year. Saquon Barkley is going to put belt to ass on the Dallas Cowboys. And honestly, Barkley doesn't even have to do what he did last year. Barkley don't got to rush for 2,000 yards. He don't. He really doesn't. I don't care how it looks. Barkley could have 1,000 rushing yards and 800 receiving yards. I don't give a damn. He could have 1,500 rushing yards and 300 or 400 receiving yards. It don't matter to me. Production is production, and Saquon's going to be dominant. I expect that. Then we get to the Eagles' offensive line. The Eagles' offensive line. Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, your right tackle and left tackle, respectively, coming off of all-pro seasons. They both were voted as second-team all-pros. Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, coming off of Pro Bowl seasons. Cam Jurgens coming in for Jason Kelsey, who retired. Cam Jurgens, first season starting, Pro Bowler. Landon Dickerson, 3 consecutive seasons as a Pro Bowler. 2022, 2023, 2024. And you got Tyler Steen, who's been developing. He's been in the Jeff Stoutland incubator. Tyler Steen has been a beautiful rotational guard for the Eagles. He actually started in that Washington Commanders game where we put up an amazing amount of rushing yards, an amazing amount of rushing touchdowns. Broke the scoring record for the NFC Championship game. This Eagles offensive line is going to be dominant. It's going to be dominant, as always. And we got the offensive line depth. You brought back Fred Johnson. You got Drew Kendall as your backup center. You got Matt Pryor, who can swing between right guard and right tackle. You got Brett Toth as your backup left guard. This Eagles team, this Dallas Cowboys front seven, this Dallas Cowboys linebacker defensive line rotation is in for a rude awakening. Trading Micah Parsons, again, not mad at the move at all. I feel like you should have paid him sooner if you were going to pay him. And I feel like you should have traded him sooner if you were going to trade him. So you can get more. I feel like they didn't get enough of Micah. And based on everything I said with this Eagles offense and everything I said about this Cowboys defense, this is going to be bad for the Cowboys. This is going to get bad for them. This is going to get bad for them. All right. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. We're about to get out of here. Got some final points to get to. The Eagles announced their team captains for the 2025 season. Jalen Hurts will be named captain for the 5th straight season, and he officially gets his gold captain patch, which is awesome to see. Lane Johnson will be a captain for the 4th time, the 4th consecutive season. Jake Elliott will be a captain for the 4th consecutive season. A.J. Brown will be a captain for the 3rd consecutive season. Jordan Mailata will be a captain for his 2nd time. Saquon Barkley will be a first-time captain for the Eagles, but a 6th-time captain overall in his career. Zack Baun is going to be a first-time captain, and Reed Blankenship is going to be a first-time captain. So your captains on defense are Zack Baun and Reed Blankenship. I like that. I'm not mad at that at all. Your captains on offense, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Jordan Mailata, Saquon Barkley, and Jake Elliott is your captain, is your specialist captain. So, I'm really excited for Zack Baun. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Reed Blankenship as well. Hopefully, this is a sign in the right direction for his contract talks. I would love for Reed Blankenship to get re-signed by the Eagles, be it if it's for a 2-year or 3-year deal. The Eagles are going to have a really, really fun season, man. They're going to have a really, really fun season, and I'm super excited about it. Another final point I want to make with you guys as far as roster moves, the Eagles placed interior offensive lineman Willie Lampkin on IR. He's somebody they found via waivers. He was with the Los Angeles Rams, but he got hurt, and the Rams cut him, and the Eagles went on and pounced on him. The Eagles also signed Aldrick Esteem, running back from the Denver Broncos, and Ambry Thomas, former corner for the San Francisco 49ers, signed them both to their practice squad, and the Eagles cut Eli Ricks and Terrace Marshall Jr. to make space for those guys. So Eli Ricks and Terrace Marshall Jr. out. Aldrick Esteem, running back, and Ambry Thomas, cornerback, are in. Willie Lampkin, interior offensive lineman, is being placed on IR. And it's straight like that. Let's read these final super chats, and then we're going to close the show, you guys. My man Alex back again says, Reed Blankenship as captain bodes well for a possible extension. I hope so, my man. I really do. And my man S. Blunt with the $2 super chat. He says, Howie is not trying to just run it back like 2018. No, he's not. He's not. He's trying to make sure he covers all his bases, and I love it. I love it, you guys. So, look, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I appreciate the love and the support. You guys know the vibes. You guys know the energy. You guys know where my body be. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys tune into the playback, especially if you're not able to watch this live. Tune into the playback on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. You feel me? Also, check me out on TikTok. Check me out on Instagram as well, at @chalkitup_sports. And also check me out on Twitter. My handle is at DeShields. My last name at DeShields _. So you guys take care. You guys enjoy the rest of your football Saturday, man. Like I said, we came to get in. We came to get out. And it's straight like that. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.